Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross England here with Clear Lake Guide Service and your Clear Lake report for April, gosh darn it, I just looked it up, 13th, April 13th, 2023. One of these days I'm going to be able to come to you and tell you, oh yeah, it's on fire. It's not, but let's talk about conditions first. And stick around towards the end of this video because I'm going to talk a little bit about what's being said about the fishing up here versus reality. So if you're interested, stick around. If you're not, you just listen for the actual conditions of the lake, etc. That's fine. Thanks. We enjoy having you here. You can tune me out. Okay. Lake level is down to about just a little over 7.5. It's like 7.6, something like that. So for all intents and purposes, lake is full. It's been dropping, but it's in really good shape right now. So that's lake level. Obviously no issues with any of the launch ramps around the lake, as we've been talking about for weeks. So no problems there. Water, let's talk about water clarity. Now, the information that I'm going to give you today comes from 4 days on the water since the last report. Actually been out there more than that, but we'll just say 4 days on the water and in varying areas of the lake. So we've seen the water temperature as high as 64 degrees in some areas, and as of today saw the water temperature in Lakeport start at 51 degrees and work its way up to a balmy 54. So probably back in some of the little, it's surprising, but in some of the little nooks and crannies you might find it a couple degrees warmer, or you might find it a couple degrees colder, because I've seen both. We were somewhat surprised when we bombed over to, let's call it the west side of Nice, and the impact of the colder water coming in from Rodman had that over there a couple degrees cooler. So it was in the 51 to 50, 50 to 51 range when we were there. So you have a wide variety of water temperatures, and as you listen to this you might think, well, why? And understand that probably where I was a couple days ago when it was 64 isn't 64 anymore. It's been cool the last couple mornings and the water temperature has probably dropped some. So it just depends. This lake can warm up fast in the right set of circumstances, and with the wind that we've had the last couple of days for the entire year, these aren't the right circumstances. So there's your water temperatures. Figure it's going to be probably 50 to 51 when you start, just about anywhere you start, and depending on where you're fishing, you might find 60 degree water temp. Water clarity, anywhere from a foot to foot and a half of visibility to, I was in an area where I could tell it was bottom because I could see a PVC pipe laying on it at 9 feet. I could not clearly see what was on the bottom, but I know that was bottom, and I don't know if it was the clarity or just my eyes, because who knows, I'm not young anymore. So kind of interesting, because as soon as I pulled into a place and saw 9 feet of visibility, I better start getting up and start looking around. And what I saw was just not a whole lot of fish. So let's see, water clarity, temperature, upcoming activities. Big one, I believe starting Thursday and running through Friday is the official practice period for New Gen's Pro-Am, which kicks off Saturday and Sunday this week. So it will be a busy second half of the week this week. There's not been a whole lot of people running around, but there's still enough people out. It'll get busier come this weekend. So again, New Gen Pro-Am this weekend. You know, I'm not sure where they're going out of, but they've been going out of Lakeport. So if somebody knows different, just tack it on down in the comments down below and we'll get that information straightened out. So there's your activities. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about fishing, and this is the part that, you know, some of you may want to just cut me off, and that's fine. This may not be aimed at you in the first place anyway. There are a bunch of people that we're running into at the launch ramps, on the water, via text message, that are hearing about how wide open the bite is at Clear Lake. It's just wide open. You know, we had a friend of ours come down from Oregon who called us and was telling us from the tackle shop in Redding how wide open the bite is down here, and it's awesome, and it's huge limits and all that kind of stuff. These tournaments are showing that consistently, probably the top 25% of the field have been able to top 20-pound limits. Some of them have been 30-pound limits. Very, very good bags of fish. Look at the bottom 30% of the field. Not even a limit. So what you're hearing is that there's a red hot, wide open, big fish bite here at Clear Lake. Now, if you've been here and heard that and came and fished and went away unsuccessful, nobody lied to you. Nobody was being dishonest with you. There are very, very small groups of people who have gotten onto these bites. They're kind of keeping it, you know, to themselves, which is fine. I completely understand it. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to you who thought you came here because the bite was good and you were going to get a big limit or maybe your personal big fish. You can still do that. It's just most of you, as well as me, aren't doing it. I spent 4 hard days fishing, and I had 8 fish to show for it. No big ones, no small ones, 8 fish. 4 fish one day, 4 fish another day, and then 0 the other 2 days. If it makes you feel better to hear that you're in the same boat with me, that's great. The fish are here. I don't think they're in the numbers that they used to be. Clear Lake cycles. It's done it a number of times. And right now, the cycling for big fish is pretty darn good. You would think that would have treated the minnow fishermen pretty well this year. It didn't. There are some people, and I know I've talked to a few of them, that they've never steered me wrong. They've always been honest with me, which is what I value the most. And they're catching fish, and they're catching good ones, and they're catching good numbers. They're the ones who are doing it. It's not up for grabs for everybody. So don't get your feelings hurt. You can be disgusted. I am. You know, anytime I go out and can't put a limit of fish in the boat, I'm pretty disgusted about it. So I'm disgusted a lot lately this year. So we'll figure it out. Either the fish will figure us out or we'll figure them out. But the message to those of you who either have been here or are planning on coming here, you know, this month or next month in May, don't give up on the place. Just don't expect it to be easy. This lake has never been easy. The only people who think it's easy are the ones who are actually on a bite. And for them, it is. For the rest of us still trying to figure it out, whether it's places, timing, or the baits, that's the part of fishing that can be excruciatingly frustrating at times, not being able to unlock that door. So my message to you is, if the wind ever stops blowing, come have a good time on the lake. If you think you're coming here with a chance of catching 30 pounds just because everybody says that's what's happening, it ain't happening. But you may be the one who figures it out that day, and that's why you'd come here. So for those friends of ours and the guides I work with where our little group is suffering, having a real tough time with, the current reality, it is what it is for now. It'll change. So good luck to y'all. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.